Okay, so I'm going to do a story time. This is going to be about the way that things have been working for me personally. It's going to be an extremely honest video. I'm not exactly sure how long it's going to be because I'm going to kind of delve into a lot of what I'm doing, the person I am, how I got to this place, and what it is that I have as far as intentions for the channel moving forward, the types of videos that I'm going to be putting out, the type of community that I want to build, just kind of letting you know what to expect every time you see a video. The videos are not going to be the kinds of videos they were before. I'm leaving the videos up so you can see them if you want to see videos of me randomly playing games. A lot of it's just game content of me just playing through games, or if you want to see me just talking about music videos, TV shows, giving my opinions on stuff, that's completely fine. It's part of the journey. It's part of who I was before I got to this point. But those aren't really the types of videos that I'm going to be doing anymore. And not to say I will never do videos like that again, but that's not the angle that I'm trying to position the channel to be in. The idea for the channel, and the idea in general for my life and the community that I want to build, is for everyone to have a space to actually manifest the way that they need to. So a lot of times you'll see a coach, hey, listen to what I'm saying. I have these ideas, buy this coaching course. It's $500 here. Oh, hurry up, get in before it jumps up to, I don't know, $800 for whatever. I don't know, whatever they're pitching as an idea. That's fine. And I'm not saying that those things are wrong. I'm not saying that you won't get results doing that. What I'm saying is that there are a lot of people who are actually at a genuine struggle point in their reality and all of their creation, manifestation. There's a person that they're really in love with and that person just isn't treating them right. There's a person that's at their job that is the reason that they feel that they're not getting promoted. There's a better house that they want to get. There's a location they want to move to. They always wanted to move to Thailand. They always wanted to move to Canada. They always wanted to move to the Caribbean, whatever it is. And they're seeing that their life just isn't adding up to where they know that they're going to be, where they know that they should be, where they can see themselves being the most fulfilled, the most true version of themselves. And the issue is, a lot of times when people are at let's just call it a stuck point, they're going off of historical context, right? So what they're saying is, hey, my life is the way that it is. There's a lot of stuff that I don't like. And I'm focusing on the stuff I don't like because I'm doing a scale, as it were, of the things that I need. So I need food. I need a roof over my head. I need to pay bills. I need to, have a job that I enjoy. I need to take care of my kids. Whatever the things are they're saying they need. And up until this point, they may not have gotten exactly what they needed in order to give the world around them what it's saying it needs in order for them to be considered like fulfilled. And the issue is that a lot of these people genuinely want to put something better out into the world, want to be the best versions of themselves, but it's hard for them to maintain, hey, I'm not that person yet. I don't see myself as that person. A lot of people know me as a different person. And because of that, they keep falling back, backsliding, as it were. If you're thinking more of like a religious context, like, oh, hey, you're doing really good. You're, being this great person, and you're going to church, and you're not going out to the clubs, and you're not drinking and doing all these other things. Which I'm gonna do videos on drinking, smoking, just all forms of things when it comes to manifesting and making sure that you're the best version of yourself that you can be. Because I think some of that stuff has some negative connotations on it that I feel are ill-conceived. I think they have some history behind them that is not what people think about, but they've been conditioned, again, with a lot of the condition that's happened with them, they've been conditioned to think about something in such a negative way. They say, okay, I'll give an example. For a lot of people, the idea of manifesting, I'm going to do something without any work, is a bad thing. Someone's doing something, someone has millions of dollars, billions of dollars, someone's going to be a trillionaire, they're not doing any work, they're evil. There's nothing evil about money. Money itself is not evil. It's like saying, okay, for an example, instead of saying money, let's use something else. Let's use lawnmower, right? So if someone said, I want to have the greatest lawnmower, the best lawnmower ever, you wouldn't be like, oh, you're evil. You just be like, oh, you just have a lawnmower. It's a tool. It's to cut your lawn. If you have a big lawn, you probably should have a really good lawnmower. But for some reason, people have this connection with money that, oh, you have a lot of it, oh, you want a lot of it, that's a problem. You are a problem. You are a bad person. And there are tons of examples. Media, they talk about it on the news all the time. Oh, these people who have all this money, they're not paying taxes. They're not doing this. They're doing evil stuff. Now, again, I'm not going to say that the people that they're talking about aren't doing bad things. They are doing legitimately bad things. Okay? I'm not going to get into all the political stuff. I'm not going to get into all the, news stuff about people who are doing things and have islands and stuff like that. We're not going into that because I'm not trying to take this in a negative route. But there are people that have done negative things. But again, that's not the money. The money isn't doing negative things. The money isn't saying, hey, let's create this island. Hey, let's do these parties. Hey, let's do this stuff that's illegal. The money has nothing to do with that. The money is just there. The money's kind of a tool to help facilitate that activity. But the person's doing it. I mean, there are evil people. There are people that make bad choices. But people take it as, oh, well, the money is what the person has that makes them different than me. So if you have a lot of money, you must be a bad person doing bad things. Okay. That's the first thing that we have to talk about. There is no bad money. There's no bad any money ever. Like money is just not bad. It's not. You have to get that out of your head. You have to get the idea of wanting a ton of money, hitting the lotto, getting an inheritance, winning a lottery at like a work event or something like that. It's never bad to get things. It's just not. And I'll say it this way. When you were younger, when your parents gave you stuff, were you bad for receiving things you did not work for? No, they would give you presents. And yes, I get they put these ideas in your head like, oh, you were a good kid. You did things that were nice. You played with your sisters, the neighbors. You called your grandmother when you were supposed to. You went to church. You mowed the lawn. All those kinds of things. Yes, technically they're saying there are things that you did. But being realistic, the value of what they're saying you had to do to what they gave you was so disproportionate. It was just kind of like a gesture. Like, oh, they just want to see that you're doing anything. And if you do anything, here's the thing that you get. Okay. Because of the fact that money legitimately, like at this point, is not real. It just isn't. It's not backed by anything. It's fake. It's all ones and zeros. Most people don't even carry real cash anymore. You have a card, it's ones and zeros, and it says an amount in your bank account. And to be honest, a lot of people don't even know what's in their bank account. They'll say like, oh yeah, I've got, let's say $1,000 in my bank account. But then they forgot like, oh, my Netflix subscription or my car payment or, my rent just came out. And then like they look and they're like, oh my God, I'm broke. So it's the idea of the money, right? So it's the idea of, okay, there is a thing that I think that I have. It makes me feel comfortable that I can take care of my necessities. So food, housing, taking care of my kids, going on vacation, whatever the thing is that you like to do, or buying expensive handbags, the steak dinners, whatever the thing is that you do. Like you really take care of your dog. Let's say you don't have kids. You really take care of your dog. You buy them like the best dog food ever. Okay, if you can handle all of that, right? You can handle all of those bills. You can take care of everything. And you know that every time you pay all of that stuff, it will refresh itself. So it's not that you're spending money. It's just kind of circulating itself. It's just sort of, hey, there's money coming in. I'm putting money out into the universe, into the world. That money is circulating, helping other people do things, paying their salaries, paying for their health insurance, their kids to go to school, whatever it is. It's paying for other things. And then money circulates back to you for you to continue to buy and do things. That's completely fine. That's kind of how it works. It's just like if you're breathing. When you breathe, you don't think I'm spending air to exist and breathe, right? You're just like, I'm breathing. Then the trees absorb the carbon dioxide. They put out oxygen. And then, there's also a whole thing. There's a lot of stuff in the ocean that puts a lot more. I'm not gonna get into that, but you get what I'm saying. Like the idea that things are just kind of symbiotic, and it's abundant. It's out there. It's like you never think, oh man, I'm spending so much breath to exist. No one ever says it. No one ever says like, man, it took a lot of breath for me to get through the day today, right? Like if you ever talk to anybody, I can guarantee no one has ever said, wow, today was really stressful for me because it was a really breath-heavy day. Like I spent a lot of breath to get from the morning to tonight. Like me getting here to you, like I'm almost out of breath. Like I'm done. They might say they're out of breath because they're like running really hard, but they'll get more breath and then they'll be fine. They'll breathe. But in general, no one thinks of it that way. But with money, again, this fake thing that we've made up, and again, fake in the sense that every country usually has like a different currency. Some use similar currencies and they'll accept other currencies and exchange rates and all that, but it's different values, right? So $1 in America is not $1 in Europe or or a yen in Japan. Like it's not the same. So it's all fake. Okay. If you want the most abundant, the most fruitful, the most positive, the most amazing lifestyle that you could ever possibly exist, that you could wake up in the morning and you're like, if all I do today is have a coffee or play golf or just hang out with my kids or just take a walk down the block, it's going to be an amazing day. I'm going to go out. There's going to be wonderful experiences. That's great. You should be able to have that as a reality, because we are currently at a time in reality where people don't have to work and do things the way they used to. I get when it was like war times and before the Industrial Revolution and everything, you had to go to work. You had to, go out and farm and work in the steel mill and do all this stuff. We have so many machines and robots and stuff that do things. I go to CVS and Walgreens and all these other stores that you don't even have cashiers anymore. You just got little computers and you just swipe things and swipe your fake card, and then you get to take stuff from the store and you go home. It doesn't need to be the same way that it was before. And again, I understand that there's going to be some resistance, which is why I want to create a community. I want to keep making videos. I want to talk about it. If it's 15 videos a day, if it's one video a week, however many videos it takes, however big we can grow the community, I want us to be able to support each other, because this idea, this concept, this way of thinking, this way of moving forward is going to feel like it has a lot of resistance for people. Because a lot of the things that you've been taught, whether it's school, whether it's religion, is telling you that feeling like you should have everything, feeling like you should be not only comfortable, but you should be happy in the life that you're living. You should be able to go on vacations. You should be able to have a house that is wonderful and well-maintained and enough space for you and the people that you love, and being able to do the things that you want to do. People feel like that's wrong. People feel like, oh, well, if I want those things, like that's not okay. Like if I want stuff, well, I'm taking from somebody else. Okay, so the idea that you're taking from other people, technically, on case-by-case basis, you could be taking from someone else. And even that's not necessarily wrong. It's more just the available resources of the time. But usually, you're not taking from everyone. You might be taking from someone like, oh, I want to go to a restaurant and they have a steak and they only have 16 steaks and there are 20 people who want steak. Then, okay, yes, those 16 people are taking steak and the other 4 people who want a steak. But it isn't to say that the people who want steak couldn't get another item. You know what I mean? Like, they could get something else. They just also want steak. If they went another day, maybe they'll have more steak. They get steak another time. So I think that having more discussions, more conversations, more of a really honest, it doesn't take anything to get where you're going or to get where you're trying to go, but it is like working out. It's a consistency thing. So if you think, hey, I'm going to win the lotto, I'm going to have this person that I really care about me, and we're going to make it work. It's going to take work, like hard work. Like I'm going to say this again because some of y'all probably didn't hear me. It's going to take hard work, like hard work. So let's say, I'm going to give 2 examples. So let's say it's finances. I want it to be that financially I'm in a better spot. A lot of people can think about a time, and I'm saying this because I'm thinking that most people watching this will be adults. So most people were children at a time and you were broke, like you had no money, and you were an adult and you are at varying degrees of money, but you have potentially, I could be wrong, so maybe somehow you're watching this video, there's like a free YouTube service somewhere outside and you're streaming this video in particular, which great. If it found you, awesome, you're on your way. But you've probably made some money, and the road to getting to that more money for some people felt like it was a lot of effort that went into it. But if they look back at the steps that they took to get there, they'll see that it was intention. So yeah, it's the effort of you study, you go to school, you go to the right school, you go to, the right classes, you meet the right people, but it's the intention. You wanted that thing. You wanted the job. You wanted to live in a certain place, and you made that happen. For things that are more tangible in people's eyes. So, oh, I want to be a doctor. Okay, so I go to this, undergrad, I go to graduate school, I, get a residency, I do these things, I work at the right hospital, I, get a specialty, all these things. Now I'm a doctor. Okay, it's really concrete, it's laid out, that's how you get there. Those paths for people are very easy to latch onto. They're ridiculous. Like every person I've ever known met that's like they were a doctor, like they're currently a doctor or they're going to be a doctor, talks about how awful it is. Going through residency, not sleeping, just being like a zombie trying to make it work. But at a certain point, they're like, okay, like I got through it. But people are fine with that. Like they accept that. When it comes to manifesting, it's the same sort of thing. You've got to look at it as It's something I've never done before. So for some people, it might happen quicker. For some people, it might take longer. That isn't to say it won't work. It's just for some people, it'll be varying degrees of work before they get there. The same way that you could have a friend who plays basketball with you and you both go to shoot like a free throw and they make it and you don't. It's not to say like you'll never make it. Maybe they're just more inclined athletically than you are. Again, that isn't to say you could not get to a point of making the free throw. It's just to start, they might be at a different place than you. Okay, so don't judge yourself by other people because again, we're all living in our own solo reality that's kind of clashing with other people's, and you'll be fine. Keep coming back. We'll get you where you want to go. The other thing is when it comes to people. So people is a little different. People is a little different because you're allowing your reality to intersect with somebody else's, and their reality is valid. Okay? So I'm going to say that again. You are intersecting with somebody else's reality that is valid. You are not trying to change the person into the person you want them to be. You're accepting them as they are and accepting that the person they are is the person you want them to be. Does that make sense? Like, you're not trying to change it. You're not saying like, hey, I think you're bad. You need to change all this stuff about you. You need to be me. You need to accept how I think about things. You need to think about things the way I think. They just, accept everything. Like, let's say you're in a long distance relationship. Okay. They live in Spain. You live in California. Okay. It's really difficult. Plane tickets, visas, potential language barrier, what have you. It's difficult. You may not see each other except once a month. You might not see each other except, doing FaceTime calls. There's time differences, all these kinds of things that could be issues. You are not trying to change the person into, hey, you have no friends, you have no family, you have no job. You're only focusing on me. You're only focusing on the things with me. Instead, you're accepting this person that I care about, this person that I'm with, this person that I want to have this experience with. We both want each other. We both want our worlds, our realities, our best versions of ourselves to meld together. In order for that to happen, we not only need to accept the other person as who they are and accept ourselves as who we are and us being the best versions of ourselves, but that those things match up together and mean that everybody gets the best version of the person that they're involved with. I hope that made sense. If not, it's fine. I'll keep talking about it. But generally, that's what you're looking for. So if you're with a person and let's say you're dating someone, they could live near you, they could live long distance, whatever. Okay? I'm gonna do for both people in a relationship. We'll do it this way. As a guy, oh, I don't want the person that I'm with to act this way or to expect these things or to be materialistic or all the, like, just a bunch of stuff they're saying, like a bunch of negative stuff they're saying they don't want. What's going to be the problem a lot of times with people is they're going to keep running into people that are like that, right? Instead of meeting someone, finding common ground, finding commonality, and saying, hey, these are things I care about with you, and then just loving them. And then that person being the best version of themselves for you, if that makes any sense. So you're not doing it in the sense of like, oh, I like you, so we're going to do a bunch of physical stuff. I'm going to make you overextend yourself for me. None of that. It's just, I care for you. So I do things for you. You do things for me. But it's not a give and take, if that makes any sense. So you're not looking for them to overextend so they meet your needs. And you're not looking for them to overextend to meet yours. You are saying, what you do, the person you are, I love you. I got you. So if you need me to, let's say it's long distance, drive 7 hours to come see you, and we only get to see each other for 2 days, and that's twice a month, the person is driving 7 hours to go see you for 2 hours. Like, that's amazing. For 2 days, that's great. A lot of people would just be, we'll wait until it's like a big trip or a big vacation. I can't do that. Now, the in-between time, let me be very honest about this. The in-between time is going to be really hard. And again, that's the whole purpose of these videos and then building a community. It's going to be hard. You're going to need people around you to help support you, because what's going to happen is people have this conditioning of media, their friends, family, what have you, and they're going to say, love's supposed to be easy, man. It's not supposed to be that hard. You shouldn't have to be sad. You shouldn't have to be... Wipe that from your head. There's duality in everything. There's happiness and sadness. Like you got both. And that's fine. You can have both. Like the same way that like you can eat an apple and it can be fresh, that apple can then be spoiled. It doesn't make it a bad apple. It's just it took too long for you to eat it, and now it's spoiled. It doesn't make the apple bad. It's just through time, it just became spoiled. But even the spoiled apple, you can potentially do something with. Like I'm sure there are recipes where you can try and save it, whatever. But with a relationship, a lot of times what I've seen with people is they'll talk to people who do the, for guys, oh, she's just in the streets. Don't worry about her. You can't be with her. You know, you need a woman who's Mary Magdalene. Like she's never been touched by anybody, whatever, which is its own thing. But there's that. And then for women, it'll be a similar, oh, it's a guy. He's got to pay for everything for you. He's got to, you know, open doors, do this, do that. I'm not saying there shouldn't be chivalry. I'm not saying that the person shouldn't want to do stuff for you, want to take you out to dinner, want to open doors, want to, you know, carry you across the threshold even if you're not married. Not saying that shouldn't happen. But that should not be the expectation, right? So again, if you walk into a situation with an expectation, this is what it's going to need to be, and if it's not, it's wrong. The problem is you are setting the bar. And even if the person could have met a bar, and it would have been a great bar for them to meet, you're potentially never going to see that because they're not hitting the bar you've set. Does that make sense? So you are looking for, let's say, I'm looking for a guy that lives near me, money, free time, you know, comes to see me all the time, we live together, like all these different things. Great, you're looking for that guy. But you could be with a guy who, let's say, you're long distance, you don't see each other all the time, but you talk all the time. You are meeting both, like each other's friends, family, all of that, and you're planning for the future. You may not have an exact timeline on that future because, you know, things change. It could change in one day, it could change in a year. But you're both like, I want that to work. The issue is a lot of people will run into friends who do the ain't shit idea, and what they'll do is they'll say, well, if they really cared about you, what they would do, I'll say this, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But usually, people that I meet that say that are alone or miserable. Because they keep getting into relationships where, like, it ain't shit. So, like, of course they're going to think everybody ain't shit because, like, they don't got shit. And they're like, oh, well, like, I'm looking for perfection and you should be too because you shouldn't settle for less. And no one's saying that you should. No one's saying you should ever settle for less. But I will say this. The person who's going to love you the most on this planet, I'm going to tell you, is you. The other person that you care for and are in a relationship with, they're going to reflect that wonderful, amazing, beautiful, self-realized person that you are. So if you don't love you, how is someone else going to? Even if you find the perfect person, if you don't love you, how is someone else going to? So if you go out into the world and you're like, I'm expecting this guy to pay for dinners, I'm expecting this guy to, you know, bend over backwards, do all these things. Okay, cool. Let's say he does all of that. If you don't like you, you're going to find a problem with it. So let's say he pays for dinner. Oh, I didn't really want to go to this restaurant. Oh, he didn't tip as much as I thought he should. Oh, we went out to this one restaurant, but we only went to one restaurant this month. Outside of that, we only do McDonald's. What? I only get one nice restaurant a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can nitpick at anything. Like, genuinely anything. I've met people very wealthy, very poor. They both argue about money. I've also met people on the, I don't know why this is the spectrum for me, very broke, very poor, and then lots of physical attention and none, and it's always a problem. So I know people who, like, they don't really touch each other much, and it's a problem, and people who they do stuff, but it's like, we only do stuff 5 times a week. How's that enough? And then the people who get nothing are like, 5 times a, what? How can you complain? Okay, it's a perspective thing. Again, you have to love yourself enough to let someone love you. That's not easy. Again, going to try and create a community where we can all talk to each other and be kind to each other and support each other and let each other know, because we are going to have no vested interest in the other person. So, you know, that we're going to date them, that we're going to, you know, necessarily work a business with them, whatever. So we're going to try and help each other stay positive, stay on the right track, and stay in the path to where we're trying to go. My goal is to not have any sort of course that you have to pay for, any sort of course that you've got to invest in order to do things, mostly because I know what it's like to have nothing, like for it to be at a point where just everything is kind of falling apart. And if you're at that point and you really, really, really want to get out of there, someone telling you, I've got a life raft, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to drown. And they're like, if you got $1,000, how is that helpful? Oh, here's how you can get yourself out of debt. Buy a car all cash. Buy a house and, use it as an investment. Okay, that's cute. But that's not everybody's reality. So, do you have no helpful information for me? Because, if the only thing in your course is I pay you money, and then after I pay you money, you tell me if I have more money, then I can use that more money to make more money. How does that help the people who are like, well, okay, so I have to decide if I keep my phone on or if I eat today. So, can you help me? If their reaction is, well, I don't know what to do with people like you, then how are they helping anybody? If someone's helping people with money, that's just a money manager. That's not a manifestation coach. That's not a, any of the words that they'll use for themselves. And I'm not trying to attack anybody. Anybody has a problem with me, we can talk it out. We can be civil. It'll be fine. But being realistic, trying to help people, especially with the fact that this is all stuff that anyone can do, and trying to put a ceiling on it of if you pay this amount, then you can be saved, as it were. You can buy your way into heaven. You can buy your way into Scientology. It's right, but if it was really the way everyone should be going, shouldn't it be free? If everybody should do it, if everybody should get there and be part of this and be elevated in this way, shouldn't you want everyone to do it? Shouldn't you give it freely? Just be hey, I'm not charging anyone for anything. Anyone, ever. All of you, come to me. Let's make it work. My genuine goal, I'll tell you the truth up front, genuine goal is sponsorships. People to say, hey, you talk about stuff, you talk to a lot of people, those people listen to you. Maybe if you wear, I don't know, a shirt that we have that's a Prada shirt, or I don't know, use lights from a Sony, or whatever, cool. That's how I would pay for things, or people giving me stuff. That's fine, because again, I don't see the need to have to work and then buy it. So someone's like, oh, here's a house because we're doing a bunch of construction in, let's say, Georgia. But we're doing it across the United States. So here's a house. You can talk about the house, film from the house, and then tell people about the house, and then maybe people buy the house. Cool, whatever. And then you guys don't have to pay for anything. I help everybody get where they want to go. But I don't want to do courses. Again, and I'm going to be completely transparent about this, I want to talk to you guys, and I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to get something from you. So if I make you pay for a course, I'm going to have to make you feel like you got something. Does that make sense? You have to feel like you got value, or you won't stay. You won't stay in the membership, you won't stay in the course, anything like that. You won't do it because you're well, why would I pay him, even if it was $5? Why would I pay you $5 a month if I'm not getting anything from you? I could pay somebody else, let's say $10, and I might get, $5 back, and then, whatever. So my idea, again, is to not make you pay for anything. To do it through sponsorships, do it through just manifesting the stuff to work out, the stuff to happen. If it becomes that you guys want to give money, you're hey, we like this guy. We're hearing his story. He's, dealing with mental health stuff, which is a whole nother video that I'll make. Dealing with disability stuff, which is a whole nother video that I'll make. Trying to be a dad, trying to, figure everything out when it comes to relationships and dating, because I'm dating long distance. It's a whole situation that I can talk about, and I can walk you guys through. We can, again, as a community, we can work through it and support each other. But the reality is, I don't want you to feel like I'm desperately trying to beg you for anything. Because again, that doesn't work. People do it. I'm not saying you can't do it. People do it, but it doesn't work, because what happens that I've seen, and through stuff that I've paid for and tried to do, you get people who might in the beginning kind of oh, hey, here's what's going on, and then they kind of fall off, and they give you a lot of cookie cutter, hey, just do this, and then you do this stuff for a few months, and you're okay, I'm doing stuff, but it's not really going anywhere. Oh, okay, no, but you just got to keep at it. Maybe it'll take 4 or 5 years, and it's okay, but what can you give me in the meantime to kind of work through that? Oh, there's another level to the course, or there's another mastermind, or there's another, Discord thing that you're paying. It's why am I consistently paying? I'm not getting anything back. Like, I'm not going to keep paying you. Like, if anything, I'm just making you rich. Like, I'm manifesting your reality, which is cool for you. But again, it could be free and we could all do it, because everything that I'm talking about has nothing to do with the other side that I was kind of talking about, which again, I'll say real quick, I'm going to get more into when it comes to the other videos that I'm going to make and shoot and put up and all that. Businesses are not people. They trick you having Twitter accounts and stuff, and they post stuff, and they hire people to like make little quips and little jokes, and Wendy's is making a joke on Arby's and all this stuff. They're not people. Like, people work there. The business is not a person. The business paying you, giving you stuff, all that is fine. Businesses being out there creating things, again, fine. Who doesn't love diversity of food, where you live, cars you drive, all that stuff? But it doesn't have to be what it is now. It can be something different, and we can all get there together. When I say all, I mean everybody that's willing to come with me, because, hey, maybe I talk to millions of people and none of y'all want to come. That's fine. I'll just talk to you and you can hear what I'm saying. I'll keep saying it. You'll see what I do. And then we'll just kind of go from there. And hopefully you'll want to talk. You'll want to join. You'll want to become part of it. But we'll have to see how that all works out. So my plan is to do at least a video a week and to create a community with you guys. And I look forward to talking to you.